What up, everybody? I'm at my favorite beach. Last few hours, I'm on the Big Island. Super excited to be going to spend my birthday with some friends on Maui. And as I was getting up this morning, I was reflecting on how far I've come to get to this moment. And since it's my birthday, I was writing in my journal and kind of reminiscing on years past and trying to just focus on like how far I've come. And so today I was just going to talk to you about how growing up, like I didn't picture any of this. I didn't picture any of this as my life. I remember being in high school and thinking like, I don't know what's after this. I don't know what comes next. I had two parents who were working, one in banking and one in insurance. I had friends who had parents in various different careers and different types of careers, real estate. Some were lawyers, some were doctors. So I had an idea of what those lifestyles looked like. However, none of them fit what I thought I'd be doing. And so it was really hard being like 17, 18, graduating high school and being like, I don't know what I'm doing next. Where am I going? Like, who am I? And this isn't to be morbid, it's just like I couldn't picture it, so I couldn't imagine it actually happening. I couldn't imagine myself getting to the age I am now, which I'm 44, and I couldn't imagine this age. I couldn't imagine 21, let alone 44. And so it was really difficult graduating high school and not knowing what I wanted to do. I feel my parents gave me good direction. They wanted me to go to college, be a college graduate. I know it was super important for my mother because she worked really hard in her career. I think she was passed over for a few promotions because she didn't have a college education. And so I think it was super important in her eyes that I get a college education so that I wouldn't run into the same roadblocks as she did. And I'm super grateful for it. I'm super grateful for my college education. It was a great time in my life. I really enjoyed it. I didn't realize how much I liked learning until I was out of college, which is interesting because when I was in college, it's like I couldn't wait to finish. And I remember just like working full-time, going into school full-time, and I couldn't wait for it to be over so that I could, start my life. And again, in college, I was like, I don't even know what start my life looks like. What am I going to be when I grow up? I still couldn't imagine the career. I couldn't imagine where I was going to live, who I was going to be with. I couldn't imagine any of it. So even in college, I was having this, again, not morbid, but I can't see the future, so is the future actually going to happen? And as I graduated college, another misconception I had was that I would just have like a job land in my lap. Like, because I had a college education, I would just get like recruited for a job. I almost thought like for some reason graduating college meant you're like on all these recruiters lists or something. I wasn't that naive, but there was this feeling of like, oh, since I have a college education, I'll find a job easy. Well, no, it didn't happen. I applied for jobs in my field for 3 years and I never got one. It was also coming to a dip in the economy. People weren't hiring. So there's a lot of factors. But also, I got a lot of people who said, you don't have enough experience. It's like, well, how am I supposed to get experience if you won't hire me? So I was now post-college working. I think I was at a bank, and then I was at a hospital, and I was working in service industry, and still I could not picture my future. And at this point now, I kind of feel like my life was just sort of like puzzle piecing together. Like it just was, some things were random, some things I put, I made happen. But at a certain point, I realized, like, this life is gonna be what I make of it. And I can work at the bank. I can work at the hospital. I can work in a restaurant. I had skills. I also felt, though, that I was failing because I wasn't working in the field that I studied in college. So that was a very hard transition post-college. Because now I can't picture my future. However, I'm seeing it from this point of view where I've just applied for jobs for 3 years that I haven't gotten. I have this college education that's not working for me. And yeah, so now I was picturing a future, but it was a future that involved like sitting at a desk, working 9 to 5, and honestly, it was really depressing. I really did not picture that for my future. And I do remember in college, trying to do a study abroad because I really thought it would be cool to live out of the country for just a little bit, just to see how other people live and see what, I think I was trying to do a semester at a sister school in like New Zealand or Australia. And I was so excited to go, but the credits wouldn't match up. I couldn't get my studies done on time, which means I would have spent like a whole other semester or maybe even a whole other year to finish my credits and my degree. So I decided not to go. And then I remember post-college thinking, wow, I really wanted to study abroad. I really wanted to live abroad. Again, to experience something different, a different place, totally unknown to me. And for me, out of the ordinary, thinking of the landscapes of Australia, New Zealand, I figured it would be pretty dramatic from where I'm from. So that's when I'm post-college, I'm in Montana, I'm working at the hospital at this time, picturing my life continuing to work at the hospital for the next 20, 30 years, because a lot of people do that. They find these careers and they work for a lot of people I talk to. How long have you been here? 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. And kudos to them for picking a career, sticking with it, and making the best of it. They loved their jobs. They were everyone I met was so good at their job. They loved being there, and it was their home away from home. And I could not picture myself in those jobs. I couldn't picture myself at that desk for 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. I couldn't do it. I couldn't picture it. And when I finally moved to Jackson, I took a big leap of faith. I moved to Jackson. I was working for the Four Seasons, and I was a server. So in society's eyes, I'm kind of like the lowest of the low. Like, I'm a lowly servant for other people. But I didn't think of myself as that. I was having fun. I was meeting new people. I was learning all about like culinary and service, but like 5-star service, not, 2-star Mexican restaurant service. And then I started traveling in the off season because we were seasonal workers. And that's when I could start to picture my future. Once I started traveling, I could start to see myself, oh, this is really cool. My first big trip, when I was living in Jackson, my first big trip was to Bali. And I did my open water course. I want to say that's when everything really changed. Really, really changed, because I remember thinking, all right, next trip I go on, I'm going to scuba dive. And I started to make it like, wherever I pick, the destination I pick, there has to be scuba diving, or at least, like, let's say I'm in Europe. At least if I'm in Europe, then I'm going to do a stop somewhere, scuba dive, and head back home. Like, there was always going to be scuba diving in the itinerary. And that's really when I could start to see my future. And not as a dive instructor. I didn't think I was going to be a dive instructor. I didn't think I was going to travel as much as I have. I didn't think I would leave Jackson, to be honest. I thought I'd be in Jackson Hole forever. But I knew once I traveled to a far off country and really experienced the culture and the cuisine and the lifestyle, I knew I was hooked. I knew that I didn't mean to cry. I finally pictured a life that was for me. I pictured a life that fit what I wanted to do. I wanted to travel. I wanted to see the world. I wanted to experience new things and new people. And whew. So today, going back to my journal, I was thinking about how grateful I am for all the experiences I've had and everything leading up to this, and following that excitement, following that first trip to Bali excitement, and just knowing that that was something I wanted to build my life around. And I'm really proud that I am taking this year to take some time for myself to recalibrate and rebalance. Because since Jackson, and since that first trip to Bali, and since COVID, and since yachting, and since working in travel, I kind of lost the point. I kind of lost the fire, the joy, the why I want to travel. And it's kind of serendipitous that I'm heading back to Bali. That wasn't the plan. I honestly didn't know what I was going to do. I just knew I needed to book a ticket, and I actually thought I'd head to Thailand because I know Thailand. I'm very familiar with Thailand. But yeah, Bali just kept coming up on the radar, and so I was like, let's just go. And so many people have asked, like, well, where are you staying? What are you going to be doing? And I'm like, I don't know. I'm literally going to figure it out as I go. And that's, I think, it's the part that scares me, but at the same time, it's the part that usually shows me the most about where I need to grow, and also what I'm supposed to be doing for the next year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years. So doing this all off the cuff is definitely out of my norm. I'm used to planning my trips and knowing where I'm going to go, kind of knowing where I'm going to stay, who's going to be there. You know, I have some friends that might meet me there in the next couple months, and they might not, but it all boils down to the fact that I can actually, the video got interrupted. I was saying I can actually see where I will be this time. I can actually see my future. I can actually picture myself in it. And it doesn't involve a desk, it doesn't involve a 9 to 5, and that's okay. That's my life. That's just what I've been creating, and I'm gonna keep creating for the next 44 years. So thank you for joining me on my birthday. I hope you guys enjoy whatever you're doing, wherever you're at, and I wish you all the best.